Welcome, everybody, to the final score. I'm your host, Nicholas, and today I am joined by Chris, the Dolphins fan. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, I am here for week two.
Oh, finally, we missed you last week. Where were you?
I
And
was
don't lie.
I was dying.
Don't lie.
I was dying.
Well, you didn't succeed, so where were
I
you?
yeah. I was sick, very sick.
I'm going to test your audio, like I
Preposterous,
said.
preposterous, very sick. Let's just say preposterously.
Oh, you're like super soft.
Am I?
Yeah, I think I have to turn up the desktop audio. How about now?
Oh, I don't know. Am I loud now? Humana, humana, humana,
Mm,
humana, humana, humana,
I need a little bit more from you.
humana, 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 humana. Table for humana.
Perfect. We're beautiful.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I like
Awesome.
it.
Well, dude, I am so happy to have you here. We are going to be breaking down each of these games. And like I said last week, or rather last night, I didn't have time to prepare my little schedule of the NFL predictions and everything. So I am kind of sorry that I wasn't prepared. So I
That's
don't
fine.
know the current standings and everything. But
That's perfectly fine.
let's just say I got them all right. There's no
Let's
need to check.
let's just say Tanner didn't get them all right.
Tanner, I mean, DJ bets every time on the Raiders. Let's just say he
Hey, you
picked the
know what?
Raiders every game.
I chose the Raiders and I was happy I did.
I did too. I'm not convinced with the Broncos. However, that might change this week. That might change this week.
It might,
Yeah.
just might.
So this for people who are brand new, and right now we have two viewers, and I'm pretty sure I know who those two are.
Just me. One's me.
Yeah, and one's me too. Uh,
Oh
but
well, we're talking
but
to ourselves.
But if anybody is new here who doesn't know, this is our annual NFL predictions where at the end of the season, whoever has the best record overall will win a jersey out of my pocket. And I'm happy to do it. Last two seasons, I won. I got myself a custom Browns jersey after the first season. And last season, I got a Dolphins Tyreek Hill jersey. I love that jersey. And the dude went off. Dude,
Yeah,
I
that
was
he did.
so excited. I was also a little bit bummed because I was going to live stream on Sunday and I saw Dolphins Chargers and I was like, I want to live stream that game. That feels like it's going to be so much fun. And then I had set up the thumbnail and I got ready with my like little Streamlabs just to come to the realization it was an afternoon game and not a morning game. And I was like, I
Ooh,
can't do the afternoon game. So I had to
ouch.
do Bengals and Browns, which was a mistake. Uh,
Oh yeah, that was definitely a big
how
mistake.
was I supposed to know? The weather was bad. Joe Burrow decided to just be like a 90-year-old grandma. I'm getting ahead of myself. We got so much to predict right now. We have 16 games on the docket. And first up is the Vikings at Eagles game. So why don't I start? Because I think Chris, Chris, Chris,
Yes,
Chris.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'll start. I'll start. So this
Okay,
way
yeah.
it matches up with what we want. Vikings at Eagles. Where shall I begin? Was what happened on Sunday to the Vikings a precursor to what will happen every Sunday that comes? Or
Possibly.
or was it an outlier losing to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where reports have come out that Baker was able to figure out the defensive signs by halftime and was going into the locker room and saying, hey, they're being really dumb right now. If they do this, they're backing up. If they do this in response to this, they're locking up. How are you going to do that? How are your signs that obvious that you're just giving away the answers on the test? You can't do that. There's no Quizlet, there's no check. It's a football game. You're not supposed to be that obvious, Minnesota.
Spygate.
Yeah.
Spygate 2.0.
And then, speaking of Spygate, you got the Philadelphia Eagles. I know they're not the ones who
No,
were
yeah,
the,
no, yeah.
but they played the people accused of Spygate last week. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the New England Patriots last week in a game that was a little bit closer than it had any rights being. And Halo, my guy, is in the chat. I love him.
What's
Me
up,
some
Halo?
Halo. Welcome to the stream, buddy. It's good to see you again. He's actually going to be going and checking out the Stanley Cup in person. I believe on Friday. Or
Nice.
yeah, dude, I'm so jealous. Oh,
Get
he
a
just
drink out of
woke
it.
up from his nap. That's cool. Um, yeah, so the Philadelphia Eagles, that game was a lot closer than it had any right being. And I think it goes to show that what I was saying last season, that Jalen Hurts was just kind of like a product of the people around him. Once they got rid of a lot of people, he didn't look quite to form. He still played a very good game, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't quite what we were seeing last week. Oh, he has a headache? Dude, if you have a headache, you don't have to be here, man. Take care of yourself. That's more important.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So the Philadelphia Eagles, the defense was not great. You let Mac Jones score 20 points on you. Not good. Not good. Okay, he's fine now. Glad to hear it, Halo. Uh, but in this matchup, I really, after the performance against the Vikings and Buccaneers, I have no faith in the Vikings. So give me the home team. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I totally forgot to put the little icons on the screen.
Well, good thing I didn't because I'm also going with the Eagles. You know, it's it just kind of baffles me a little bit that the Vikings, for how good that they did last year, I know they were kind of a fluke, but it just against a team like the Buccaneers, just yeah, it just I don't know.
Are you looking at the chat? Because
No,
we have Mr. TikTok in the chat. He said, I've been watching the stream the past 5 minutes. Watch what you say about the Vikings, buddy. Watch your
oh,
back. And then and then he hears us and he's like, no faith in the Vikings. And he sends three clown
wow,
emojis. And I think with you also going with the Vikings, he said, a fluke? Are you kidding me? What do you mean a
yes, a
fluke?
fluke, a
What do you
fluke.
mean? Which one was a fluke? Oh, last
The
season?
Vikings,
Last
yeah,
season?
last season, yeah.
I'm not willing to say it was a fluke last season. Like they were able to hold it together. They won those like one
Eh,
score games, but like towards the end of the season, there was no defense. There
yeah, their
was
defense is still
none.
non-existent.
Yeah, it was brutal to watch on TV. It come on, Mr. TikTok, you were there, dude. You saw it in person. Baker Mayfield knew the signs. And then Star or Halo, excuse me, says Eagles as well. Yep. Sorry, man.
Eagles,
It's all Eagles. It's all Eagles.
fly,
Let's
eagle, fly.
no, no, God, no. Just because
Oh,
I pick them
sorry.
does not mean I like them still. All right, we're moving on to the next matchup. It is the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Why don't you go ahead and break this one down?
Okay, so both of these teams, well, more so the Bengals, did not look like last year's, AFC champion, not the actual champions, but the team that made it to the champion. The Ravens honestly were a bit better. They were playing in wet weather, so it was kind of hard to, do anything. But the Bengals just did not show up at all. Like it kind of baffled me a bit. I know the Bengals always start slow every year. They're gonna be at home, so I'm gonna give it to the Bengals. Yeah, I'm not convinced Lamar Jackson is as good as he is worth, apparently in dollar amount. Joe Burrow will probably come back to life a little bit. He did go through the preseason workouts or anything, so he's a little rusty. So I think give him a week and a half, and he'll be okay.
Well, as somebody who actually watched the Bengals and Browns game and live streamed it and was reacting to everything, I can tell you straight up, he's not okay. He is somewhat injured. I don't know what's going on with him, but he was
It's
not
his
okay.
calf, I think.
Well, his hand was bothering him as well.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, it was not good. Um, so I'm going with the Ravens. Also, Mr. TikTok is talking mad smack about you.
Well, I'm not paying attention,
Yeah,
so
no,
sorry, Mr. TikTok.
I'm going to just read off what he says because I want your reaction to it. So he
Okay.
says Chris shouldn't talk and say Dolphins are better when the stadium in the background doesn't even have half the stadium filled.
Hold on.
I mean,
I mean,
there's definitely a lot of open seats
it's
there.
definitely like pre-game, so I mean, obviously, they're not going to have every seat filled.
Sure, pregame. Whenever you could see that, like, there's little fireworks and stuff coming out from the tunnel, which
Yeah,
means that
that's
they're coming
pre-game right
out.
there.
Sure, all right. Mr. TikTok says Ravens flock trust in Tucker. Halo also is picking the Ravens. When you're right, you're right. U.S. Bank would get it filled 5 hours before the game. You know, I will say Minnesota is very passionate about the
Well,
Vikings.
yeah, and this is the thing. There's not much in Minnesota. Sorry, there's not much in Minnesota. So going to a
Have you
Vikings game is
been
not.
to Minnesota?
No, I have not.
I've been to Minnesota. Granted, just like the downtown Minneapolis area, and then I did see a Wild game in St. Paul. It's a really nice city. Uh, I wish I had more time because I would like to see what's there. But yeah, I think outside of that, I'm not too sure. They do have the Mall of America, which is awesome, dude. Love it.
Yeah, but
Uh,
other than that, like, there's not really much. There's hills and snow.
sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's move on to the next matchup. It's the Seattle Seahawks against the Detroit Lions. Now, this matchup is actually quite interesting because I think at the beginning of the season, prior to week one, if you were to have looked at this game, you would have been like, oh, this is actually going to be good. The Seahawks were good last season, and then the Lions ended the season really hot, beating Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. And then week one happens, and the Seahawks look like absolute shells of themselves. Geno Smith played well for 3 drives and then just kind of fell off the face of the earth against the Rams. There's audio of him screaming about Aaron Donald coming after him. Dude, that is. Well, I'm not. I don't feel good about it, especially whenever the Lions pass rush comes at him. You know, they got Hutchinson
Oh,
coming, Aiden Hutchinson. Like, that dude is going to be a beast in this league, and it's just his second season. Geno Smith, if he was screaming about Aaron Donald, he's going to be screaming about Hutchinson. And the
oh, big time.
Lions, they upset the Chiefs. Now I know that there's some people in our group that did pick the Lions to beat the Chiefs. I had a little bit more faith in Mahomes to make uh, lemonade out of limes, but that was an awful game for Patrick Mahomes, and the wide receivers failed him.
Mm.
I do like what we saw from the Lions, though. I thought there was a lot of energy. They are hungry. And so I think that the Lions are going to just steamroll the Seattle Seahawks. Give me the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions too. Honestly, from what I watched, because I watched most of the game, they were on top of everything. I mean, it just looked like Mahomes was a little bit lost at one point. Without Travis Kelsey, he just wasn't looking good, and Goff was just using every bit of his tools that he could. Montgomery, the defense was looking, beautiful, and it just they swallowed freaking Mahomes up a bit. And when it comes to the Seahawks don't really have much on defense, and it's gonna be kind of tough to stop Jared Goff in that really high energy offense.
All right. So we're both going with the Lions. However, both of our viewers are going against us. Halo says Seahawks, and then Mr. TikTok says Seahawks win because DK Metloaf will score a last second touchdown, and Jared Goff will throw up on the field to bring in the backup, Jake Fromm. Now, that is quite the
Actually,
bold
his
prediction.
backup is actually Teddy Bridgewater, so
I
that's where
love
you're wrong.
Teddy. I miss
Yeah, so
Teddy.
that's where you're wrong. So that's not gonna happen. I miss Teddy too. I miss him in South Beach. We have Mike White now, so
Yeah. Oh, well. All right. Let's move on to Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Chris,
oh
go ahead
god.
and talk
Do I
about
really
this.
have to talk
Oh,
about these two teams?
did
Oh
you
my
want to talk
god.
about your Dolphins later?
Yes, I
You're going
do.
to talk about this team, these
So
teams, as brief as you want.
okay, so honestly, of these two teams, the Colts impressed me more. Their rookie quarterback was possibly the best rookie that played on Sunday. And that's saying a lot because a lot of these rookies just did not really pan out as much as I thought they would have.
Chris, you're spitting
Um,
fire right now.
oh, I know. I'm spitting facts. When it comes to who has the better weapons, the Colts have the better weapons. Texans, I want the Texans to be good, but as of right now, they are not looking too good. I think it's going to be a low scoring, close game with the Colts coming out on top. Maybe by like a point, like last week with the Saints and the Titans.
I was also more impressed with the Colts, and yeah, I think Texans are just going to be happy to be able to play football.
Oh yeah.
And by picking the Indianapolis Colts, I'm not saying that they are going to be a good team. I'm just
Oh
saying
no.
that they are at least better than the Houston Texans.
They're the better of the worst.
Yeah. Also, Mr. TikTok does not give a prediction on this game. Halo did. He said Colts. And Mr.
Yeah.
TikTok is asking if I'm pumping crowd noise into the Super Doom behind me. Oh, and now he says Colts. And just so you know, Mr. TikTok, of course I am. I'm going to pump that music loud and proud. Also, the shrimp tacos are magnificent. All right, let's move on to the Chicago Bears at the
Oh my
Tampa
god.
Bay Buccaneers.
Do we have to talk about this game too?
Again, I'm going to be super brief about this because
Oh
I
my
feel like it's
god.
another one-sided affair, dude. Because like I was a little impressed, not with Baker Mayfield on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but overall as a team, like they really came together to defeat the Minnesota Vikings, defeated them, and then
Defeated them.
yeah, defeated
Defeated.
defeated
Defeated
the
them.
Minnesota Vikings. Sorry, Ben. Sorry, Mr. TikTok. But
Sorry, Ben.
also like
Not sorry, Mr. TikTok.
uh so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had somewhat of a good outing as a team, where I can't say that about the Chicago Bears, especially when Chase Claypool, people are compiling video clips of him just not even trying during plays. And you can see that the dude just does not want to be on the team. Now, it is unrealistic to think that on every single play, every player is going to give 100%. But whenever you have something like this, like it's your division rival, it's the first game of the season, you're trying to make incentives and you just don't care, that doesn't say well. And like Justin Fields, he needs the help. He can't be the one man team that he was last season. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I think that it's going to be a close game, probably a low scoring 17-13 type of game. Just not good.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of faith in the Bears, just slightly more than the Buccaneers. Um, with the Bears, I kind of was listening to a lot of the people who were talking about them and, hyping them up and stuff. And I think in a game one, first game of the season, there's not really much to go on in terms of who's going to be the definitive, breakout teams. So I have to give it to the Bears just a little bit. I don't think Baker Mayfield has really found it out all that much. Like you said, if the Vikings are going to give out their defensive plays like that. I'm sure the Bears aren't going to do the same thing, and it's going to be hard for them to read the defense and everything. So, I believe Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback this year. I just like Joe Burrow. It's going to take him maybe a week and a half.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We see.
Halo also says Bears, and Mr. TikTok also he's siding with me on this one. It's me and him. He says he's going Buccaneers only because the Bears suck even more than 1-16.
That's the thing. When people were saying that the Bears were going to go 15-2 this season, those two losses are going to come by the Packers.
Who the hell said the Bears were going 15-2?
A lot of Bears fans were saying that.
That makes sense. They're as delusional as any other team.
The Bears fans were going to say that they're going to go 15-2, and those two losses are going to come by Green Bay's hands.
Dude, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. It's like the Saints fans thinking we're going 13-4 this season. It's like, you guys need to shut up. Anyways, Mr. TikTok says Bustin' Fields, and I like that actually. Halo says Bears 69-0. That is a very bold prediction.
That's a very bold prediction, yeah.
And I think everybody will cheer if that ever happens.
Yeah, nice.
All right. So you talked about the Colts and Texans. How about this one? A little palate cleanser for you. It's the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, so as I stated previously, without Travis Kelce, Mahomes is lost. He doesn't have a receiver. He doesn't have a tight end. I mean, he's got that one guy tight end, and I don't know what his name was. It's
Nick
not
Gray.
Travis Kelce. Nick Gray. But without Kelce and with Mr. freaking Bricks for Hands, I honestly don't see him winning another. I honestly don't see him beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. As much as I weirdly hate to say it, the Jaguars looked good last week. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley are dangerous. They are dangerous together. That is a dangerous combination, and for them to go against a Chiefs team that is coming off of a hard loss at home against the Lions of all teams, the Jaguars are going to trample on Patrick Mahomes, dude. He is going to be stifled.
So you're going with the Jaguars?
Yes, I'm going with the Jaguars.
Dang, I was going to go with the Jaguars on this one. Like, I just feel like they're the more complete team, and I'm wondering if the Chiefs will get Travis Kelce back, because there's no word. I'm expecting them to get Travis Kelce back, and I'm expecting the wide receivers to play better. The question is, do I think that the Jaguars are on the same level of the Lions? Or do I think they're better? Because let's be real. I think if Travis Kelce played in week 1, they would have won.
No doubt about it.
So, with that in mind, if Travis Kelce plays in this game, I feel like Mahomes is good enough to keep it close, and then Travis Kelce is going to be the game changer. But he might still be hurt from. I mean, everybody's saying the Jaguars in the chat. Do I just go with the Jaguars? Do I be like everybody else? Do we get
be different? You can be different. Be the difference.
But comrade, it is more fun to do the same thing.
But comrade, you have to be different.
I'm not being different. I'm being the same.
You have to be different, comrade.
I'm basic. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like Trevor Lawrence. Give me Trevor Lawrence. I think that they're the more complete team.
Mr. TikTok said you should have coin flipped it.
Yeah, he wants to coin flip for me, and it's like I'm not sure. Somehow he's going to be like. I'm not sure
you can trust him.
Somehow you got the Packers in this one, Nick. It's like, what?
That's what I was gonna say too. It's like somehow you got Team X.
Yeah, Team X. Whenever it's a game between A and B. Let's move on to the Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. And can I just say, what an absolute surprise the Packers were able to beat the Chicago Bears the way they did, missing out on Christian Watson, who is their projected number one wide receiver. And then the Atlanta Falcons also pulled out a win against the Carolina Panthers in just kind of like a more strugglish manner. The game was not very good. I think that this last week's game says more about how bad Chicago is defensively than it says the Packers are offensively. Because I remember back when Jordan Love was the backup to Aaron Rodgers and he started a couple of games, he looked like straight up doo doo water straight from the toilet. You're telling me that all of a sudden he's that good? No, I don't think so. But I think that he's that good enough to defeat the Dirty Bird. So give me the Green Bay Packers.
Now, see, this is where I kind of am like on the fence because, like you said, it doesn't say that the Packers are good offensively; it just shows how bad Bears are defensively. Honestly, I thought the Falcons looked okay, not great, but not terrible. Um, but I don't know if I can trust the Falcons. I actually have more trust in Jordan Love a little bit than I do with whoever the quarterback is for the Falcons. I don't even know who he is.
Now, Mr. TikTok and Halo are both going against us. They both say Falcons. Mr. TikTok says Bijan gets 3 touchdowns. Matt Ryan returns and wins against the Packers, 67 to -11. Now, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about was Bijan Robinson. He was drafted very high, high expectations for this running back. I can't trust these guys with any rookie who's supposed to be very good. You know why? You know who I'm wearing? Mr. Kyle Pitts himself. Mr. 3 touchdowns in 2 seasons. And 2 of them happened in the U.S. You can't expect this team to utilize their star players like that. And I know Bijan Robinson had a touchdown, but he basically had to force that touchdown to happen. It was not a good setup by the Falcons. He just turned something from nothing. So I'm sorry. I just can't trust the Falcons to utilize their players. Moving on to a game that's actually a little bit more interesting after Monday night. It's the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Buffalo Bills. And Chris, you're up.
Okay, so the Bills looked embarrassing on Monday Night Football. I watched most of that game after I basically started watching after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. So let's just say that. Hopefully, he heals. Rest in peace, whatever, Aaron Rodgers. Everybody hates you. Anyway,
rest in peace. He's not dead. God, Chris.
His career is dead. So let's just say
he's going to come back with all the hope in the world that he has a chance to win. You're not doing anything, Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets just made a very expensive mistake. Sorry.
Yeah, they did. They made it expensive. Basically, Aaron Rodgers was that episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob goes to the salty spittoon and then trips on an ice cube. He's just like, "This is the greatest day of my life," and then this freaking ambulance comes over along. Yeah. Anyway, back on topic. The Bills looked embarrassing. I don't know what Josh Allen was throwing at. He needs to go to Lens Crafters and get himself a pair of glasses. Or Nick, can you lend him your glasses or something like that?
No, these are prescription.
Oh well, never mind. He's gonna have to get his own damn prescription.
Yep.
And then on the other side, the Raiders, they didn't impress me because they were playing the Broncos. I'm pretty sure a junior varsity high school team could beat the Broncos at this point.
I think you and I could beat the Broncos at this point.
I think we could. I think we could. Just you and me, and that's the whole team.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm gonna go with the Bills. I know they looked kind of confused a little bit, but it's week 1. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So I'm also going with the Bills, mostly just because over the last season, Josh Allen always played his worst games against the Jets, and we know the Jets have that really strong defense. And before I was a hater on the Jets defense, like, whatever. But after just the absolute show they put on Monday night, I was like, okay, no, I think these guys are actually pretty solid. I'm going with the Bills. I think last week was just a fluke. They're going to bounce back against the Raiders. It's going to be a nice little welcome home party for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Halo says, boo, Raiders suck.
Okay, no. See, the thing is, I don't hate the Raiders.
No, I don't hate them either.
I just don't like them more than the Bills.
He just cheers for the Broncos. And then Mr. TikTok, he's saying, good, yes, go Bills, Bills win. Yep. Oh, yes. Dude, you got a fun game. No, this isn't going to be. Am I breaking this one down? I'm breaking this one down. Yes, you are. Yep. It is the LA Chargers. Yeah, it's very one-sided. LA Chargers against the Tennessee Titans. I'm not even going to just like make you guys wait for this one. I'm going with the LA Chargers to just defeat the Tennessee Titans. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. Yep. Tennessee Titans. I heard somebody say that they are a wild card team at best, and I think that is very generous.
That's more than generous.
They like that's their ceiling is like seventh wild card spot, whatever, right? And the LA Chargers had a magnificent game against the Miami.
They just couldn't
outduel
the Dolphins. Couldn't outduel them.
No, they lost for Charger reasons. That's what happened. They got in their own way.
You want to know something funny? I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I was keeping score of the game the whole time when I was at work, and one of my old coworkers who recently retired earlier this year is a Chargers fan, and he's not even at my store anymore. And I saw the final score. I was like, "Yeah, take that, Steve."
Mr. TikTok is saying bolt up. Chargers are underrated, definitely making the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And then Halo, I didn't want to say where you were, but Halo says he doesn't like the Raiders, even if they are his hometown team. And I get it, because technically, whenever I became a football fan, the Chargers would have been my hometown team. They were the closest to where I lived. But I'm still a New Orleans Saints fan, so I really don't think the Charger fans are real Charger fans, if you know what I mean.
No, they're definitely not.
But here's a game with dedicated fans on both sides. It's the San Francisco 49ers against the LA Rams.
Both of these teams did last week. The Rams actually, for losing a lot of their main players in the last 2 years, surprised me. I was expecting them to go into Seattle and basically lose their pants, but they showed up. Matthew Stafford looked like the MVP he was a couple years ago, and it surprised me. But what didn't surprise me was that the 49ers kicked the pants off of Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. The Steelers, I'll talk about them when we get to them, but the 49ers looked excellent. Brock Purdy is just, he's rolling back into from what happened last year. He, became the Mr. Relevant, and just was slinging the ball around like it was nobody's business. And they are playing in LA, but I like the 49ers defense a lot more. I feel like they can stop a lot of whatever Matthew Stafford has up his sleeve. I know the Rams usually always beat the 49ers every time they play each other, but I'm giving the edge to the 49ers.
So I love it. Brock Purdy has not lost a regular season game as a starter. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Rams.
I don't blame you. I honestly don't blame you.
I feel like last season they were plagued by injuries, and Matthew Stafford is healthy. He's looking good. I want to go with the Rams. I know they don't have Cooper Kupp, but they were just able to do a lot of things to the Seattle defense. This is going to be the real test to see if they're back.
But you have to remember the Seattle's defense isn't as close
to
the 49ers.
No, God, no. The 49ers probably have arguably the best defense in the league, and I know that there's another team that had a better defensive showing, but they went up against a really bad team as well. Yeah, I'm going with the Rams. I feel like this is going to be a prove-it game, and if the Rams do knock off the Niners, it's It's going to be very interesting, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Halo says Rams, and he also likes hockey over football. And I would probably have to agree with you, Halo. I get a lot more enjoyment out of foot or hockey, but I still love football very much. And then Mr. TikTok is going with the Niners, and he wants to know what our Panda Express orders are. So
double orange chicken, fried rice, and chow mein, and the
so
cheese and the cream cheese ragoons or whatever they're called.
Dude, we almost have identical orders. I get the fried rice, double orange chicken, but not with the chow mein, just the cream cheese ragoons.
It depends on what I see in the thing. If I see that like the chow mein is fresh, I'll go for it. But if I see that the fried rice is fresh, I'll usually go for that more.
Dude, we gotta go get some Panda Express. It sounds amazing.
I don't know. The last time I had Panda Express, their food was kind of terrible.
Okay,
at least the one over by my house was.
That's fine. Yeah. Mr. TikTok says we have the same order.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's order. Yeah, like if you're going for like the Kung Pao chicken or like the Beijing beef, like what's wrong with you?
Just give me the orange chicken, dude, and those cream cheese ragoons. You cannot miss out on the cream cheese ragoons,
especially with the sweet and sour sauce on it. Ooh.
Yeah, dude. We just lost a viewer, and I think that they are just like, oh, their Panda Express order is no good.
Express? What is this blasphemy?
I like the white rice, not the fried rice.
Give me the brown rice or the super green.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next matchup in a game that absolutely nobody but their fan bases are excited for. It is the New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. This is a game between two doo-doo teams. Daniel Jones is a horrible, horrible quarterback who is getting top-tier money, and it's like, congratulations, Giants, you played yourself. By giving him that monster contract. It's like, yep, love it, keep at it. You guys will not sniff the playoffs until he needs another contract. And then the Arizona Cardinals, they showed some grit against the Commanders. I will say that. But I think that this is all Giants, no Cardinals. Give me the New York Giants to just kind of, yeah. Oh, and we do have Ed Marcinov coming in saying it's a craptacular event, and I would have to agree with him.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I'm really if I'm impressed with the Cardinals about they didn't win, obviously, but they did have a little something going on, and then they just they cardinaled it. But with the Giants, they weren't able to score once. And I know it's the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have a great defense. The arguably one of the greatest. But I don't know. I don't trust the Giants. I know they have some good pieces, and they just did not really use them last week. I'm actually for the first time in a long time, I'm going to go with the dry rub.
Oh, that's insane to me, actually.
Especially because they're at home. I mean, I don't know. The Giants, after watching them just be the Giants last week, I don't know if I could trust them.
I am shocked. I really am.
I know I've been saying it's been the first week and we can't really tell, but to get goose egged at home on 9/11,
9/10. 9/10.
Yeah, 9/10.
And don't say it like it's a holiday. Like, dude, that's so dark.
I know.
9/11 Eve.
The 9/11 Eve, yeah.
So oh, man. Okay, well, thank you for that, Chris. What a bold prediction. I wouldn't mind that result, actually. But Mr. TikTok is actually saying that his father is watching this so-called podcast, and he's a big Vikings fan. He was alive during the Bud Grant days. Well, thank you so much, Senior TikTok, for coming out.
TikTok Senior.
Yeah, TikTok Senior, for watching this so-called podcast. Honestly, I don't see it as a podcast. I just see it as a group of friends talking about sports.
I think it's a podcast.
I wouldn't say it's a podcast.
People are sitting here listening.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. This is just a friendly conversation. Is that what a podcast is?
That is exactly what a podcast is. Dude, it's a friendly conversation.
Every time I tell people about my channel, they're like, "Oh, you have a podcast," and I'm like, "No, it's more like just hang out and chill with me, that kind of stuff." Uh,
That's literally what a podcast is.
Man, I don't want to be a podcast. For some reason, that just comes with expectations and not expectations,
Yeah.
but like stereotypes. Like we're also just supposed to be sitting here like this and just talking into the
I
microphone.
mean, we could be like Joe Rogan and lighten
Oh
up
yeah,
movies and stuff.
you could do that, but you're not going to do that because this is
I'm not
family
gonna do that.
friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Uh, okay, so Halo is picking New York, and Mr. TikTok is saying New York Giants will win after a 40-point loss. So I would have to agree. All right,
Wow.
let's move on to another matchup, which would have been interesting. It's the New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, okay. So the Jets actually, well, they were playing a very confused Bills team, and the Cowboys, honestly, whew, oof, spicy. They just went off.
They came to play.
They took all the anger that they had from that game against the 49ers in the AFC divisional series and just was like, you know what, we're gonna beat up on the Giants. And beat up they did. I honestly I am going with the Cowboys. I'm gonna say it here right now. I don't care how good the Jets defense is. Their defense does not compare to the Cowboys defense right now. Parsons, I don't know what Parsons did. I don't know what he said to the rest of the defense, but whatever he did after being drafted, he just lit a fire under everybody's butt and was like, we need to really put the pressure on these teams, and they have.
We lost TikTok Senior. He's
Oh,
out of here. He's hired enough of our baloney. And that's not even how you
oh,
spell baloney. And I'm more
yeah.
insulted about that
It's
than
called. It's
TikTok
pronounced.
Senior leaving.
It's spelled like if you were gonna say Bologna.
Bologna. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bologna, not baloney.
So I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys as well. I Zach Wilson. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
Zach Wilson. No.
but oddly enough, I would rather have Zach Wilson over Derek Carr, just because I feel like you can develop him. He's only in his third season.
Yeah.
I feel like he's still young enough where you can right the ship, but the Jets didn't want any of that. They were like, we gotta get rid of this dude. Halo is picking the Jets, and Mr. TikTok say Cowboys win 56-2. So
So
somehow the Jets
their
get a
defense is
safety.
gonna allow them safety. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know about that one.
yeah. Well, that would be their offense that gets safety.
Oh, true. Huh?
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Washington Commanders at the Denver Broncos. And this game, the Washington Commanders actually eked out a victory against the Arizona Cardinals. I thought that it would have been a little bit more of a blowout personally. And then the Denver Broncos, well, they had a rough showing against the Vegas Raiders. Not very good. Russell Wilson does not look like he really improved from last season. And the Commanders, they tried their best to lose that game to the Cardinals. It didn't happen. But actually, I'm also going with Halo here. He's saying Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos. I feel like Sean Payton is going to learn from the lesson of week one, and he's going to be better prepared for a worse team.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. This was kind of being a coin toss for me, but after seeing some of the highlights from the Commanders game, I don't think that the Commanders really are looking to actually win. They seem like they're going to try to tank it, maybe get a high round pick next year. I'm going to go with the Broncos too. I don't like it because I don't want the Broncos to be all that great. I don't like Russell Wilson, so it pains me to say that I'm going with the Broncos.
Yeah. And it's like you can't even feel comfortable picking the Broncos either.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable picking
No,
either one of these teams,
it's
but I have to pick
Broncos.
one.
God, no. Oh gosh. You know what? This game is patooey. I spit on it. Let's
Yeah.
get out of here. Let's go on a game that more sophisticated people will appreciate. And by sophisticated, I mean people who love when the
Oh,
ball
shush.
gets aired out, goes deep, 200 yards, 400 yards, It's the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots.
So the Dolphins.
Get that Bronco out of here, dude. When you're talking about the
Oh,
Dolphins.
whoopsie, whoopsie.
Oh,
Where
whoopsie.
is my whoopsie? Where is my thingy
What was
bob?
it? I love that saying on American Dad. I just picked a whole bouquet of oopsie daisies.
Yes. Okay, sorry. Still got a little bit cough. Okay, so the Dolphins obviously won. The Patriots obviously lost, but we already know who's going to win this game. We already know it's going to be the Dolphins. I feel like I'm DJ right now, like hyping up my own team. But the Dolphins offense is clicking right now. They have, you know, they've got Tyreek out there somewhere, down the field, and Tua is slinging the ball to him. I wish he would give it to Jalen Waddle a little bit more because he's on my fantasy team, but
No, all
never
hell.
mind.
All hell.
No, it's got to be a little bit to Waddle.
No.
You don't even have Tyreek Hill. So be quiet.
In my family's league, I have hail.
Oh well,
that's besides the point. Carry on.
Besides the point. I'm going the Dolphins. I don't feel comfortable picking the Patriots at all this season. I feel like they didn't really improve from last season. Yeah, they beat the defending NFC champions, but they're still kind of. I don't think that the Patriots have what it takes to be an actual offense that's actually got some pretty decent pieces.
And let's not forget the best wide receiver in the league.
The best wide receiver duo.
Yeah, I would say duo. Yeah, Justin Jefferson, great wide receiver. Jamar Chase, great wide receiver. But right now, I don't think you can argue that Tyreek Hill is not the best. And in terms of duos, I can't think of a better 1-2 punch than Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Thank you.
Yep. Just keep it nice and short. Love it. Now let's talk about a game that I'm not going to love. It's the first of 2 Monday night games, actually. So the Dolphins and Patriots were a Sunday night game. This is my New Orleans Saints against the Carolina Panthers. And last week, I talked a lot of smack about the New Orleans Saints. I did not like their choice of quarterback. I don't like their head coach. They signed a bunch of former Raiders players, and it's like, that's really the team that you want to...
the New Orleans Raiders.
The New Orleans Raiders, this is the team that you want to be like. It's bad setup. And they won a very, very ugly game. One that, honestly, should not have been as close as it was. And that tells me so much because the Titans are not a good team right now. And you struggle that much against the Titans, you have a cakewalk schedule and you're going to be doo-doo this season. At least you're going to win games, don't get me wrong. But you're going to look bad when you have the easiest schedule. And you're going up against a Bryce Young, first year, second game. I'm still going with the New Orleans Saints. I picked against them last week, but I'm picking them this week. I think that they should be better than the Carolina Panthers, but I have absolutely no faith in my own team. I think Dennis Allen is a crock of a head coach. He deserves to be fired, and then Derek Carr should have never been a Saint. Like I said, I would rather have Zach Wilson and train him up behind Jameis Winston, excuse me. So there you go. Saints win.
I don't know. It's like I kind of want to pick the Saints, but
go against me.
I think I'm gonna have to because at least the Panthers put up a little bit of a fight against the Falcons, but it was just like a battle of who's gonna win by 1 point when it came to the Saints and the Titans. So I'm gonna pick the Panthers. I don't feel comfortable picking either one of these teams, but I'll go with the Panthers. I'll go against you.
Mr. TikTok is very, very bold of you or he wants to keep picking for you. Brady says, you are back. Football now? I'm I'm sorry, Brady. I don't recognize your name, but welcome to the live stream. You obviously know who I am, so it's glad to see you here. Yeah, so football season's right now, and then whenever hockey comes around, we'll be doing hockey, and I totally plan on doing some MLB stuff whenever the playoffs come. So very excited. We're doing that live stream kick right now. So welcome. Give me your football projections right now. We're moving on to the last game of the week. So unfortunately, we are wrapping up. It is the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Chris, take it away, my friend.
Okay, so I know the Steelers really did doo-doo last week against the 49ers, but I actually have some faith in Kenny Pickett. I was actually going to pick him in our fantasy draft with
Ooh,
Mr. Jimmy Chang,
ooh,
but somebody decided to pick him, and it seemed like every
wasn't
time I was
me.
like, "Oh, no, you picked Joe Burrow," and I wanted Joe Burrow, and then all of a sudden you took two freaking quarterbacks in the span of 3 rounds.
No,
Um,
in two
but,
rounds, I got back to back.
but besides the point, um, I have a lot of faith in Kenny Pickett. The Browns, it just they always somehow end up beating the Bengals every year, so I don't really have a lot of faith in them. Especially like you said, Joe Burrow's kind of hurt, and then they're trying to figure things out. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers this week. I don't know if that's gonna be the right pick because I don't feel comfortable picking either one of these teams as of right now, but I feel more comfortable picking the Steelers.
Hang on 1 second here, Chris.
Okay.
I need to give you my privileges as well. Um, Hang on 1 second here. Second here. So you are picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to go against you, man. I am picking the Cleveland Browns. I'm so excited. I did watch the Browns and Bengals game, and Deshaun Watson had flashes of being a really good quarterback. I'm so stoked for what this team can be. I'm not a big fan of Deshaun Watson after what he did, or at least what he was accused of. Um,
Accused of.
accused of. Uh, However, he did have a lot of settlements, which means that might be a little bit of truth to it. But yeah, so I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. I'm excited for this game, actually. I think it's going to be really fun, and the Browns should look like the bigger brother in this matchup. If they lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to be upset. I am going to be upset, especially if I have to flip between the Saints and the Panthers and the Browns and the Steelers. I got both of my teams playing on the same exact day. I need the Browns to do something good for me. All right. Well, that's going to be our NFL Week 2 predictions, Electric Boogaloo. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's shown up. Right now, we have 8 viewers watching. Thank you guys so much. I am trying to get to 1,000. Predictions on the Cowboys. Cowboys all the way.
Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cowboys. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I plan on doing live streams of these predictions whenever baseball gets to their playoffs. We'll be doing those. Watch alongs with the NFL season games on Sundays. Not this Sunday because I'm going to be doing something. And also, whenever hockey comes around, I'm going to be doing some hockey stuff. So, just want to say thank you, everybody. Are you still in school? Actually, I just graduated with my master's in accountancy this August. So I walked in May, but I finished my last class in August. So I am officially a master of accountancy. So thank you guys so much. And
a master.
I'm a master now in accountancy.
Not a Pokemon master.
No,
but an
no.
accountant master.
And I actually have to start studying for the CPA exam, but I'm waiting till January because right now I've been doing school just so much for so long that it feels like a bucket, right? That's just overfilled, and it's like if I put anything else in there, it's just gonna spill out. So I'm waiting till January to begin studying for the CPA exam. But you have to hold me to it, Chris. You can't let me just be like, I got time, because I need to get this license.
Get the license.
Get the light. You said it, man. So, Mr. TikTok, thank you. Halo, thank you. TR, why wasn't I invited to the party? I'm sorry, buddy. There hasn't been a party quite yet. And Mr. TikTok does want me to read the comments, but he says that you are sunburnt. So I think with that, we'll wrap it up.
I'm sunburnt?
You're sunburnt. Yeah, you got those rosy cheeks and everything.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm sunburnt.
I appreciate the offer, TR. However, I don't have a donation, but I do appreciate the sentiment. Thank you very much. You're very generous, but please, I'd rather you hold on to your money. You don't have to give me something just for finishing school. Thank you guys so much for everything. I'm going to be wrapping up and going and eating some dinner. So, week 2 NFL predictions, and that's the final score. Thank you, and good night.